ASMR? What could possibly go wrong?
Audibly laughed.
Guys, subscribe though. The amount of times I have been given a book recommendation of Emily Henry is starting to drive me insane. I have never read one of her books and I feel like now is the time to. So let's read them for a week. I ordered 5 of them. I don't know which one I'm going to start with, but I feel like these ones give summer vibes. So let's go by the pool and let's start reading book 1. I finally caved. I better like these books because I ordered 5 of them. Yeah, that was a lot of effort. That was a lot of effort, but that's okay. It's time to read an Emily Henry book. The first book I'm going to be starting with is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm not going to read the blurb, not going to read anything about it. I'm not going to read the blurb. I'm not going to read anything about it. We're just going to start reading it. And I have my trusty pool floaty. So let's just jump onto it. I'm nervous. I'm going to fall straight into the pool, but what could possibly go wrong? Oh. So I was just in the pool and I fell off the pool floaty. Luckily I saved the book, but the rest of me is drenched. Now I'm 20 pages into this book and I can already tell I'm gonna love it. So essentially you're following this character called Daphne who was engaged to be wed to a guy called Peter, and their love sounded like a fairy tale essentially until the end of it. So Peter had a lifelong best friend called Petra and she is dating a guy called Miles. Long story short, Petra and Peter end up falling in love, and then Daphne gets a week to move out. So Miles, who now is obviously single, has a spare bedroom in his apartment, so she moves in with Miles. And that's pretty much where we're up to now. She's a librarian and I'm loving this book. I can't even lie, I'm loving this book. I'm understanding the hype for sure.
Sorry, I can't be bothered to get my camera, so we're recording on my phone. I'm on page 122 and I've been giggling and kicking my feet. Giggling and kicking my feet. Earlier, I wasn't recording. I was sitting by myself with my dogs in a room with nobody else and I audibly laughed. And I giggled, right? And I kept reading, then like a minute later, I realized I giggled out loud. If you want to know what it was the lavender farm scene. If you know, you know. I giggled out loud. I don't think I've ever done that with a book. Like, maybe if I was recording or something, it would make more sense. But I wasn't. And I've giggled. This might be my first 5-star read. I mean, I don't know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm only on page 122 and, you know, there's still a bit to go. But I've been loving this book. I, don't want to put it down. Guys, I'm kind of on the same Emily Henry hype. I'm going to keep reading because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. But I'm going to shut up now. But I felt like I just had to let you guys know that I giggled. Literally giggled out loud. Crazy.
I finished Funny Story. Now, this book is actually the first 5-star read ever. This is the first book I've ever rated 5 stars. I cannot believe how much I like this book. The character development was incredible. So Daphne, the main character that you're following, I just relate to her in some aspects, not all aspects, but just the way that she makes friendships and just some of the negative emotions she does have towards trying to make friendships I kind of understand. It's kind of hard to explain unless you read it. And obviously not in all aspects of what she's saying do I understand. But some of the aspects that she addresses with like trying to make friends and having, you know, really deep friendships with people, I do kind of feel like she does with that type of stuff. The main character male, Miles, who kind of spoiler, I guess, but they end up falling in love. And it's like Miles is not this perfect main character. He's not perfect. He has his flaws. And I think I just love that personification of him so much. Because there are books you read where the character they fall in love with is some perfect guy and it's some fairy tale. Like, yes, it's its fairy tale in its own special way, but he's not perfect. And I think that's why I love this story so much. I absolutely fell in love with all the characters. It felt like I was just watching bird's eye view everything that was going on. And I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. So first book down, 5 stars. So next book on the list is You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. Now I have already actually started this book. You're basically following these 2 people that are best friends, and every single summer they go away together, but then 2 years ago they stopped going away together and you don't know why, and she essentially puts in all this effort, so 2 years later they go on their summer trip together again. I can tell I definitely don't relate with this main character as much as the one in Funny Story. You're basically following Poppy, who's the main character female, and Alex, who's the main character male. And yeah, I do really like Poppy's character. I think she's really fun and exciting, and I like her sarcasm and her humor. I just definitely don't relate to other aspects of her, which isn't a bad thing. I can definitely read a story without relating to the main character, but I can still tell I'm gonna like this book, just maybe not as much as Funny Story. But the character development, again, even of Alex, because Alex is kind of this socially awkward guy, but who is conventionally attractive. I can even appreciate his character, and you really see him open up to like a whole different type of person when he's around Poppy, which I really like as well. But yes, I'm gonna continue reading this. I'll speak to you guys when we're done. So, I finished You and Me on Vacation. To be fully honest with you guys, I read this over 2-3 days, but I didn't film at all. So I did just maybe fake some B-roll for the sake of the video, but I ended up rating this a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, I do really like Poppy and Alex. I just don't really like some aspects of their story of how they got together. It's just they did hurt a couple people throughout this of them finally realizing they like each other. And it's just like, when it's been 12 summers, right, 12 years, surely you would have a hint earlier on. I don't know, I guess sad that someone else got hurt in this story, but it was still a really good book. Like, I really enjoyed it. So 4 out of 5 stars. Moving on, I'm now reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I started it this morning. I'm only on page 20 at the moment. So you're following Nora, who is a literary agent, and she just doesn't have very much luck with love. And every boyfriend she's ever had has like traveled away for work to some sort of small town and then decided that that lifestyle is more for them and they don't come back. So that's kind of a funny trope, really, because if you watch any Hallmark movies, I swear that's always the trope. But you're following the guy who leaves his girlfriend or his fiance to go to a small town to work on this hotel that they're building, and then they find someone that they fall in love with, and then they leave their fiance for the girl they fell in love with in this small town. It's like that, except you're following the fiance he left, essentially. And then Charlie is the main character male. We've only just really been introduced to him, and he doesn't seem like a very nice person. That being said, Nora is a very cutthroat, forward person by the sounds of it. So, you know, I guess she could occasionally come across as not being very nice either, but not that she isn't nice. She's just very forward. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading this and we'll see how we go. But I am liking the characters so far, despite their grumpiness. Ignore just like everything about this clip. I only really just got out of bed, and I'm on page 62 of Book Lovers. Now, the setting of this book is by far my favorite setting so far. Now, they've gone to go holiday in Sunshine Falls, which is the setting of one of the books that she helps publish, and it's just not what they expected at all. After reading the book, they were quite disappointed, but I love the way that this place sounds. I don't know why, it just sounds so like lovely and a cute little small town, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. I am. I think this may be a 5-star read. Well, we're on page 60, so you know, there's a lot of room for change of opinions, but at the moment, I'm obsessed with it. B-roll. I'm on page 238. I've got that much left and I've read that much. It's probably 4 out of 5 stars at the moment. Could definitely be 5 out of 5 stars though. This is such a stupid angle. This is definitely top 10 stupidest angles I've filmed at. Like, what am I doing? Guys, subscribe though. Like, what do we think of this angle? In this story, they are editing a book together at one stage, and I actually love it. Like, I find it so interesting the way they're speaking about the book and like the character development and the background stories of each character. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm eating it up. I am. I'm eating it up. Guys, I'm tired. Can you tell? Good night. ASMR. Excuse this, I just got back from a run and there was a snake and it was very scary, and my eyes are super red because my sweat, very TMI, but my sweat goes into my eyes and it makes them really, really irritated when I run. So anyways, I finished Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Now, I rated this book 4 stars on Goodreads. It's probably closer to a 4.5 stars, but I rated it a 4. Now, I was reading through the reviews and a lot of people actually don't like this book very much. It still has really high reviews. There just is a lot of kind of criticism against the character development in this book. Now, to be honest, I didn't feel the same. I thought the characters, I don't know, actually maybe, because I guess Charlie, the main character male that we get introduced to and we follow through the story, he does seem just a little bit dry, I guess. Like, we do get to learn a lot about his backstory and his family, but it's more just like the context of him and who he is as a person. I feel like we don't get to dive into that a whole lot, especially compared to the other 2 books I've read by her. I feel like her male characters are usually very well developed, and I wouldn't say that he wasn't well developed, but it definitely could have gone into more detail about him as a person. Now, as for Nora, a lot of people didn't like her, but I personally really liked her. I did. Like, it is kind of she's kind of like got a stereotypical thing about her, definitely, but I would say overall I still very much liked her character. I just think a lot of people didn't like her because they wouldn't personally be friends with her, whereas, I mean, I don't know if I would be, but I still really liked her. And I mean, she does have some more negative traits, but we all do, and also she does have a really good reason for having those type of traits. And I really like the ending. I really like how it all panned out. I just liked the idea that it wasn't like this pitch perfect happy ending. I don't want to give anything away, but yes, with this book I really, really liked that you're following these people that have such a love for books as well. It just makes me want to read a book while I'm already reading a book. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really, really liked it. Now, next book is going to be Beach Read. This will probably be the final book. I do have one more book of Happy Place, but I'm running out of time to read these all and then upload this video on time. So next book is gonna be Beach Read. It's 2 writers, 1 holiday, a rom-com waiting to happen. Now I'm gonna go have a shower because I'm sweating and I look disgusting, and then we will start Beach Read. I've officially finished Beach Read, which is the last book of the challenge. Now, I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. The storyline was quite a bit deeper than some of the other storylines, and I just felt like we got to learn a lot more about Gus, who's the main character male. I feel like we just got to know him on such a deeper level in this book. I've rated it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I do really, really like it. I don't know, it just doesn't have that 5-star energy, but it is still such a good book. The storyline was amazing. The setting for Emily Henry's books are always so good. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As much as I have enjoyed reading Emily Henry's books, I'm so excited to pick up a fantasy book now. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye!